All right, hi, and welcome to part 2 of the moon poster notes. This is what we ended up with last time. I did add Earth. I wrote Earth on the middle circle because that is going to be Earth. And so what we're going to be looking at are the phases of the moon and how we see it from the Earth, among other things. But from this, we're going to move on to this. And so a couple of things to realize here. Again, Earth is in the middle. I put a dot right at the middle, almost like where the dot on a Pokeball would go. And that comes into play in just a moment. But if you notice, I shaded, if we're looking at the sun's rays here, I shaded the same side of every circle, what would look like the back side. And if you think about it, which I'd like you to do, everything in space, if it has light coming at it, especially the Earth and the Moon, which is what we're talking about now, all the other planets also, light from our sun comes in and it lights one side of the sphere of the planet and the Moon, and then there's an unlighted side. So there's a lighted side and an unlighted side. And that's important when we talk about the moon, and we'll get into that. But what we want to do right now, once you get all of this shaded in, then you're going to take your ruler or your straight edge, either one works. And what I'm going to do is this right here, that dot is our focal point. That is where we are standing on the Earth, just for this, okay? And what I'm going to do with that is look at the moon from there and draw lines. Now, the two easiest ones to draw, all right, are from the focal point here to this circle, and from the focal point here to this circle, because it should actually match up with the Terminator line that we have. That line down the middle on this one, where it goes from daytime to nighttime, or lighted to unlighted side, that is called the Terminator line. We'll write that in a little bit. The Terminator. I love that term. The Terminator line. Okay. So we're going from here, and it should, if you know, and it can be close. It doesn't have to be exact. But I'm gonna line up on that circle there, and I'm gonna come from here. And I'm gonna. So you can see now, then right here, where the line meets, there's that line there, okay? And that is our visual line. On the full moon, which is what's behind us there, we go from the focal point, and you know, again, if your lines are off just a little bit, it's okay. Alright, so again, right there, that's the part of the moon that we see. And it's the part of the moon that we always see, because we see the same side of the moon all the time. The same side of the moon is facing Earth all the time. Alright, so let's do that with all of these. So if I come over here to this one, I'm going to line this up. Just like that. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to... Now this one, as you know, if you notice, the line is off a little bit. So what I'm going to do is where it meets right here, where it makes this tangent, and a tangent is when a line intersects or just touches a sphere right there. And I'm going to draw a straight line right across where that is. Alright? And so now it looks like I've got a weirdly shaped piece of pie. These other two big circles here all you got to do with them, they're kind of easy also, is just go right up the middle like this. All right. I mean, you can draw your lines of visibility so that you can see where it's at. We're not going to darken in all these lines. I'm probably going to erase some of these. They do turn out looking kind of cool though. And the way that worked right there was, if we look at this one, it's the same thing. I'm going to draw a line coming from here, going that way, and a line coming across here, going that way, and then it should be just straight up and down right there. That right there, okay? It's the smaller ones that are a little bit off. So I go from our focal point here, I draw a line up, I go again from our focal point, to there, and I draw a line up. And then where they meet at the circle, right there and right there, I'm going to draw a line across like that. All right? I've got two more to do. You catch up to this point, and I'll show you what we're going to do then in the next video, in part 3. So get these lines drawn, and I'll explain more of it in video 3.